night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Get up, Jim.
You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it.
Drivers, start your engines!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Michigan for season 6 championship night here at Michigan. I'm joined in the booth tonight by Jay Donham and Jim Donham. Guys, how's it going?
Great. How are you tonight, Dustin? Good to have you back out here for the final race of this season. We're coming down to the very nitty-gritty on this one before we hit season 7.
Doing well, Dustin. It's good to be on board again tonight. They pushed my arm again tonight to be in the booth with Jay, and I'm glad you joined in. And hopefully, we'll give you a good race tonight.
Definitely should be a good race tonight with these guys here at the end of season 6. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a while, Jay. I'm pretty sure it's season 6.
Still in season 6, that's correct. This is
Yep.
the last race of the season. So tonight they're going to head out there for 90 laps to wrap up the season. Right now, Ethan Thompson's got a big points lead over Devin Zimmerman. So he showed up tonight. That's all he had to do was a starting park. So he is our season 6 and season 5 series winner. So Ethan Thompson did get the championship tonight. Still in season 6, that's correct. This is the last race.
Right on there. I mean, it's been a good season from what I've watched in the past or in the background. Glad to be back. Like you guys said, I'm glad to be back doing this. This will be fun. I'm excited to be here.
We're glad to have you back, and as usual, now we can focus back, and we got 3 of the 4 now. We lost Tommy this evening. He had to make a run, but we got Jim back up here in the booth, and Jim did a great job last week calling that big race from Talladega, and we welcomed him back. And there's also going to be a series as we got somebody that just trying to take off with some cars out there in the parking lot as we hear that in the background. But no, Jim, glad to have you back up here in the booth. What do you think tonight going into Michigan to wrap this series up?
It's going to be interesting, and I think there's going to be a little mix up with this track as far as drivers wise. And I know Robert Cochran's really good here. He could be a sleeper. Um, on one race we had early in the year, he did very well. I think it's going to be a very close race. Uh, Tires are an issue, so uh, of course it may come down to a fuel strategy race again, like seems like every TDR event. Um, but Andy's been trying to tweak on the settings to make it to where it's not a fuel economy event; it's more of a race event, and take care of the tires. And but yeah, I think the racing tonight's gonna be good. Couple 2, 3 wide racing possibly, and hang in the draft like we saw last week at Talladega.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those tracks where you're going to get 2, 3 wide, especially early on. As the tires wear off, these guys are going to pretty much either stay on the bottom or go to the top. Tire wear seems to be the key on the bottom. They can save them a little bit if you go up top. You're scrubbing more of the speed off the top, but the car feels a little more comfortable. So it's about where you want to run and where your car is going to feel most comfortable throughout the course of any run. But definitely got something going on. We got about a minute 58 left in practice. I know we got a few sponsors we got to hit tonight. So
Yeah,
why
give
don't we
me a
get
second, Jay. I'm trying to figure out some settings in the back end. So
not a problem as you're doing that. As usual, I can just go over them real quick. We have back charities, Give Back, We Back. They put the fun and funded. Last week, Friday, we did a charity race for Elizabeth Wisniewski 100 that was broadcast on the Maconi Entertainment channel. You can go check that out on YouTube. But they were also part of that. Back charities is our backbone for anything that we do. As Back Sports is part of the Veterans League, has been part of it for since the very beginning. Maconi Setup Shops. His setups, your victories. You can visit Jeff Maconi at MaconiSetupShops.com. He'll be more than happy to help you out with any iRacing setup that you may have. There's also now broadcasting that he does. A lot of giveaways, he's a very been with us for 6 seasons now, been a big supporter of TDR, and we were glad to have him aboard. So if you have any issues, trying to figure out what you're going to do or just can't figure it out, go visit Maconi Setup Shops at MaconiSetupShops.com. B&B Wraps, that's Jeremy up there in Ohio. He does anything from coffee cups to semi-trucks, any nylon wrapping, real life or elsewhere. So if you have any wraps.com, that's Jeremy. And also he does the trophy for this league as well. So this will now be the 6th trophy that'll be handed out as we're getting ready to roll into season 7. And you can go watch that live. The link will be up probably within the next week or two to watch this Ethan's second championship trophy being made. So we love having B&B Wraps on board. So from coffee cups to semi truck, go visit B&B Wraps. And then, of course, the TDR leagues. Monday nights were dedicated to the vets. Tuesday nights hosted by Jim Downham in the Truckin' Tuesday series. Wednesday night is also Xfinity series hosted by Dustin Valduzen, but Jim's been covering lately the SR8's free series on Thursday. Friday nights is our Friday Nights Evolve League. That's basically just asphalt street stocks, but we are into the Evolve series. We're going into the Truck series, or no, we're in the middle of the ARCA. And then next is Trucks on Saturday mornings, host the Legends series. So if you're in the Legends, come on Sunday, Saturday mornings at 9:30 a.m. and you can do that. Saturday night, starting in October 1st, we will have the I-87s being run by Bob Berlew. So that's another one of our admins. So if you want to go old school, that's him. That's old school Bob Berlew coming out on October 1st for sure. And then Sunday nights is our Gas and Go series. We're just about in the middle of figuring out who's going to run for the championship. Top 16 move on. Racing for the championship. That'll be the second time this season in 2022 that they're going to have that. Also tonight, Andrew Biznett did make a statement earlier stating that season 7 will be held at Daytona, 100 laps with non yellow stage point racings at 25 and 50. So it's going to definitely be a shakeup in the points next year for these guys as they get rolling around next season for season 7. As we see these guys taking qualifying now, they get going 2 laps, 10 minutes, and then we'll get lined up and see who takes the field. 11 drivers are put down a lap tonight. And then I think 11 just hit the field, but there is time for other drivers to get out there. So with that being said, there is a very special announcement at the end of this race. After the driver interviews, we're going to have a live broadcast of the 50-50 that was held for Elizabeth Wisniewski. Anybody who was involved donated to that in the 50-50. Jim is going to be making a live announcement with a very special host and guest tonight. Somebody who's been with TDR for a long time, a very big supporter of the chat. We hear from her all the week. It's going to be Sister Sookie is actually going to be the one that's going to be pulling the name tonight of the hat. So we can see them live. That is going to happen live. So there is no way that anybody can predict this. It's going to happen live after the race tonight and after we get done with our driver interview. So stay tuned to the very end if you are a 50-50 entrant, and we will get that out to you. And on that note, Jim, I'm going to hand it over to you for just a moment as we wrap up this qualifying. Let's talk about what you're seeing out there on track.
Yeah, the right now we see a little practice going on, a little qualifying going on. Business running some laps right now. Michigan, it's a 2-mile racetrack, 18-degree banking in the turns. Front stretch is a 12-degree banking, and the back stretch is 5 degrees. So there's a little banking here, not as much as last week as Talladega, but the track was built by Roger Penske back in the day. And if you're real close to Dearborn, Michigan, where of course is the big manufacturer up there, and it used to be a heavy race and still is. It was a competitive race against Ford, Chevy, and Toyota, and so they're right down the street from Toyota. So it's good for the industry for them to get up there to see what's going on. And right now we got looks like Ethan out there running his qualifying lap now, and it's an awesome track to run. I think you'll see some really great racing here tonight, and we have a couple of newcomers here tonight. I believe Andrew Spears is a new guy, the first time out tonight. We have Luke DeGenares here. He won his first TDR event this week on Thursday night with the Radicals. So congratulations to Luke on that win. And I don't see the other name up for the other guy that joined today. But it's great to have a couple newcomers on board to give everybody a run for the money.
Be Robert McDonald now sitting in the 5th spot. Robert McDonald. And just so that way everybody stays up there, Luke Desjardins is 10, and also Robert McDonald is also in the number 10. You can tell them apart. Luke is in the teal and black car, and Robert McDonald is driving the Chevy or the camouflage car. So, and they're both number 10. So that's just. But on the scoring, if you're looking at the scoring sheet, Luke is actually scored at number 11, and Robert McDonald is 5. But in the graphics, they are both running the number 10. So that's just to clear that up before we get rolling here. 5 minutes left in qualifying, and as promised, I do have even though Ethan Thompson wrapped up the championship, I can run down the rest of the points. Devin Zimmerman has 508. Sitting in second spot. Brian Boyd has 464 points. Andrew Bisnet has 2 wins on the season, and he's sitting at 449. So he's got a little bit of work to do if he's going to try and work for that podium spot tonight, but it is doable. So that's going to be a close race. 10 points behind him is Bradley Hunt, who has also been on fire. Bradley's been kind of like that secret killer that you see all night. He just kind of sneaks up on you, don't know where he comes from, and then all of a sudden he's there. So he could definitely gain those 10 points tonight on Andrew Bisnet, as well as Brian Boyd. So that's going to be a good battle to watch as far as points go tonight. Robert Cochran sits in the 6th spot with 431 points, only 8 points behind Brad. Chuck McDonald at 398. Ryan Walter, 326. Ryan Shelton, who had some issues in the beginning, kind of came out. He's been dominant in the season, one of our top 3, but only has 3 wins on the season. Sits at 319. Brad Youngman at 310. Paul Vosberg, we just heard Captain out there on the YouTube chat. Hope he's fighting those fires out there. I know there's a big one out in Mosquito Valley right now. in California. If he's out there, our hearts go out to you. Good luck, Captain. Keeping them safe and keeping your crew safe as you battle those fires out there. But he sits in 11th spot at 281. Christopher Rawlings at 272. Tanner Lee in 13th at 165. And Luke Desjardins at 138. So there could be some points that could flip flop at the end of the night. So we just got to keep an eye out. Robert Cocker and Chuck McDonald have basically been battling for 3 seasons now for the same positions. That's a never-ending battle that goes back and forth in between them. But Bradley Hunt, like I said, is right there. Andrew Bisnett has got some work to do to get over Brian Boyd, and it's Michigan, so you never know what's going to happen out here. 3 minutes, 21 seconds left in qualifying. Dustin, good to have you back up here in the booth. Why don't you go over and see what you're seeing and before we get going here and kind of wrap us up and talk a little bit about it, what's been going on.
Oh, not much going on. Glad to be back up here, guys. Just playing with my back end stuff. It's been a while since I've been up here, so sorry if the streams look a little choppy from time to time, everybody out there, but we're working through some bugs. We'll get through it. No, I'm glad to be back. The little bit I've got to see of this season that I could watch, looks like you guys have had an exciting season to call. Very exciting to watch. Thanks for, Jay, you always do a great job up here. Jim, it's an honor to join you in the booth. I think is this your or second or third race up here?
Second.
Yeah, boy, it's good always to get some new people up here, and like I said, I'm glad to be back. Looking forward to see some good racing here. You guys got to see a great race last weekend from what I rewatched the replay, or last Monday night, and it's just exciting. I mean, we got 2:15 to go before the end of qualifying here. I mean, it's it just feels good to be back. I mean, you look at the times. I mean, times are pretty close. It's going to be interesting. Biznet and Zimmerman put down this pretty much the same lap. It looks like. I mean, that's exciting to watch. I mean, these guys they didn't lose a beat while I was gone. That's for sure.
No, and just going over those points, looking at this leaderboard, Ethan Thompson makes a statement. So even though he just had to show up in starting park, he actually made a statement, put it on the poll to 39-34. As you said, Devin Zimmerman in second. Andrew Bisnet came home or brought it third at the exact same time. It had to have been down to the hundreds of thousands to put them where they're at. Andy Spears, I think this is his second race with us maybe out here, but he's fourth. I mean, he looked strong at Talladega and he's looking strong tonight. Robert McDonald, another newcomer, puts it in fifth. I mean, out beating Chuck McDonald, Luke Desjardins, Brian Boyd, who is usually pretty strong no matter where we go. Looking for that first win. Last lap, he was leading it down, and I mean, just going for that win. Unfortunately, just got a little bit too aggressive with the blocking and ended up taking himself back to fourth. But I had a good run, could have won it last week, but I expect him to be up there towards the end. Christopher Rawlings, another gentleman out there. I mean, he knows how to race. He's fast. Robert Cochran, as Jim alluded to earlier, led some laps here in a couple of big races. Feels very comfortable, and when you feel comfortable at a track, um, and you can get around some of the top guys, it kind of gives you a little more confidence at that track, and it's kind of the ones that you want to go back to. So obviously, Robert Cochran really doesn't like to start up front, but I would expect to see him get towards the front as the run goes on. And Bradley Hunt put down a lap less than still 1 second behind. So I mean, it's a very, very tight field of 11 today.
It definitely is. These guys are gonna race hard, and I think we're going 100 laps tonight. Is that correct, Jay?
We're going 90 tonight. 90
90
tonight.
tonight. 90 tonight. Okay.
That's correct. And Jim, I believe, do you have where these drivers may be from? That way, if there's anybody out in the area, maybe you can tell us where they're from.
I don't know. I know Ethan Thompson's from Maryland. Andrew Burnett's from Vermont. Chuck McDonald's from Canada. Luke Desjardins is from Canada. I think Brian Boyd is in North Carolina. Robert Cochran's from Vermont. Uh, Brad Hunt's from Texas. That's pretty much. I'm not sure where Devin's from.
I think Devin's in the Carolinas. I think he's
Yeah,
stationed in the Carolinas. He's in the Air Force.
yeah. I like to get more details on them and get some of their ages and show them how young they are compared to how old I am, compared to how young you guys are. And but the field. I mean, look at the time for qualifying. Our last place starter is 0.99 seconds behind Ethan Thompson. So the field is really close. And in the draft, these things, you won't see anybody pulling away too much tonight. As the tires start to wear, you will see definitely that's when you separate the men from the boys. But I think it's going to be a really good race.
It's going to be an excellent race tonight as we go down the field here. As we just went over the leaders there, as you see, there's a 68 car. I believe that's Andrew Spears. He's showing 3. See, we need to get these drivers to race the numbers that they've shown on the thing, especially the newer drivers. We do know the big time, the ones that are out here every week, as we've seen. There's that lime green and pink car, but there's our pole sitter Ethan Thompson. Right behind him, Devin Zimmerman, Andrew Biznett, and that is Andrew Spears in that 68W car. And then right behind him is Robert McDonald. That's that the Canadian Forces car. That's when I was the camouflage car number 10. The 04, that's Chuck McDonald also looking out there in the Canadian Forces 04 car. And there's Luke Desjardins also in the number 10, but like I alluded to earlier, he is driving the teal and black car. And there's the 78 of Brian Boyd, who I expect to see him work his way towards the front relatively quickly tonight. Christopher Rawlings, another one that can work his way to the front of the field. Wouldn't expect to see him. I wouldn't be surprised if he led a few laps tonight, as well as Brian Boyd, and carries Robert Cochran with him as Bradley Hunt. So depending on strategies that may come through, as we're getting a look at Bradley Hunt there, and that nice looking 69 Toyota. So as the field rolls around here, getting ready for green flag, any final thoughts there, Dust, before you go up to the booth, and then me and Jim will take over?
Just excited for a good race. Glad to be back with these veterans and first responders. Glad to have joined you guys back in the booth. Let's have a good race, and we're gonna see what happens here with 90 laps in the race. I don't know what the fuel run's gonna be. I'm guessing it's pretty around 30 or so at this track, but we'll find that out as the race plays out. It's gonna be exciting as we're coming to green, boys.
That's it. All right, Jim, what'd they say? Buckle them belts tight,
Yeah.
strap them down. We got one to go as these guys, as the pace car comes off and is going to set these cars loose one last time for season 6.
Yep.
Green is out in the restart zone, and they head down that front stretch. Go ahead, Jim, take it away.
I got it. Ethan Thompson has pulled out a little bit and leading the way, and Biznet's on the inside, looking on the inside of who's out on the outside, Devin, I believe. He'll get tucked up behind him. 2 behind him, 2 wide. He'll single out coming down the backstretch possibly. Doing great, staying in line, no trouble going into turn 3. His net still got the little lower line, maybe wants a little bit more air on his downforce. So far so good. We got Brian Boyd looking on the outside, back in 7th. So they're coming around doing really good. Look, Brian Boyd just cut down a little low. Everything's going fine. He's got a good run going into turn 3. Could get tucked up behind Biznett if the outside car will let him in. As you
As
see,
the
Brian
preferred
Boyd
line.
really got a good run going. He started back in 8th, I think it was, Brian Boyd, and look at him go down the backstretch now. And I like that drone shot that Dustin's controlling. Really good camera shot. The old drone. I tried
Right.
flying one, I lost it, so I don't have a drone anymore. One-time flight in the air and it's gone. But yeah, Brian Boyd, he started from in the back, and look at him, he's up to 3rd. So he's got a good. I believe he's running the Toyota, or yeah, he runs a
He's already
Toyota.
got it right.
So,
Yep, he's running the
yeah,
Toyota tonight.
really
So
good
yeah, he's
car. And he's coming now. He's looking now on the inside of Ethan Thompson. He's all the way up to 2nd. Doing a really, really good job. Right now we got Zimmerman in the lead.
Yeah, Devin Zimmerman did pull out to a nice lead, took that high side around Ethan Thompson. Brian Boyd, like I said, he's been on fire lately. He got really hungry coming up through the field as well. So Brian Boyd and Devin Zimmerman now, as we see Devin just have a little bit of an internet flicker there, as Brian Boyd drives him from 8th to the lead going down on lap number 3. So he is definitely one to watch out tonight. And we see Cocker moved up 2 as well. So, and Chuck McDonald fell back Bradley Hunt, but I think Chuck might be playing a fuel strategy. That seems to be what it could amount to for Chuck. If he could save a few laps, stay back there with Bradley Hunt, avoid trouble. Because those guys were getting really dicey and really racy early on. But now we got Brian Boyd to the front. So what a drive that is.
Seeing Brian Boyd make that drive, it makes you wonder. I mean, we've all raced this track. This track can eat up tires. Is he eating up his tires this early in the run? I guess
Most
that'll be the
definitely.
play to go. We'll have to
Nope.
watch this as it goes.
Yeah, I mean, you feel like really good when you have four good shoes under you. It makes you feel really good and fast, but that should not last too long, unless they tuck in behind and just run for a while. But he just showed the same in 3 laps on what you can do, and he did it. It's amazing what four new shoes can do for you on new tires. So you keep that in mind. Keep that in your back pocket for later in the race on a decision, and you never know. You know, somebody could come from the back with a gamble of four tires and take it to the front.
Yeah, and that's what we've been seeing a lot of. But if you're going to get it, you're going to get it early. So you might, when you have the new shoes, you're going to take that car and just dive it in as fast as you can, as hard as you can, and drive it until until they feel comfortable. But Brian Boyd definitely showing a lot of speed tonight, looking really good out there as we're watching Andrew Biznett and Luke Desjardins. Uh, Andy's kind of fallen back a little bit, but with that run that he has going on, he may be saving tires and fuel as well. 90 laps, long time around here at 2 miles. That's 180 miles they got to go tonight. And, you don't want to wear your stuff out early. A lot of these guys do know how to race around here, and everybody has a different strategy, it seems like, when they come here. Um, and it just depends on where you feel comfortable running. That low, high, do you feel like going to the front? As we saw Boyd drive it to the front. Or do you kind of just maintain your line and race your way around? I mean, here you got a good battle coming up between Andrew Spears. It's coming up on the back of Ethan Thompson. So Ethan Thompson kind of fell back a little bit. I'm really surprised to see that move, that Ethan fell from the pole back to fourth.
Yeah, that's
But maybe
unusual.
he's
That's
maybe he's
unusual
trying to
for him to do
save
that.
his equipment. I know there was an update that also ended up making these cars a little bit different. So maybe they're seeing that there's something where we haven't really seen, Jim, huh?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on because that's not Ethan there. He usually, unless something's very uncomfortable with the car, he doesn't feel good in it. I mean, like you said, iRacing's done an updates on these cars, and they're a little bit different when they first came out, and they can turn you on a heartbeat and be running along, and all of a sudden you're seeing the wall, back of the wall. But um, yeah, it's just something's going on with Ethan right now, and it could be strategy, but usually Ethan's not a strategist. He usually wants to be in the front, run in the front, and stay in the front. So, but we'll see. I'm interested to see how Brian Boyd does running out front and
Oh,
seeing
he's
how well
falling
his
back
tires
to
run.
third,
Yes,
second now. He's
yeah,
battling with as Devin Zimmerman got around him a couple laps ago,
yep,
and Brian may fell to second. Robert McDonald
yeah,
was right there looking, battling underneath. So it could have been what Dust was saying. Maybe he just pushed it a little bit too early, wear out his equipment, and now Dust and stuff is Devin is starting to feel comfortable with his car. Let the tires come in, and now he's gonna kind of cruise a little bit. As we see, I did see Ethan just tap that outside wall coming out of about 2 or 3 laps ago. Not enough really to do damage, but he did get up and just tap that outside wall. But as he's making his way back to the front now, so
yeah. He's
maybe that's what these guys are doing, just running it way too hard earlier, and there's more of a tire fall off than we're expecting.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I don't know where Robert Cochran's running right now. Usually he'll be in the back just running laps and um, staying out of trouble and out of harm's way, and he'll sneak his way to the front. He runs really well on worn tires for some reason. But it's crazy how iRacing is with these cars that we all drive different, and the cars handle exactly the way that each person individual drives them. Uh, we
Right.
had the we ran the iconic race on Saturday at Bristol, 500 laps, and one guy just tore us up, and we're all on the same equipment, and it's just a different braking and driving, and you drive it hard, you're going to wear them out. You try take it easy on it. It's like a real race car driving. So very interesting.
Absolutely. As we see Bradley Hunt now get on the back of Chuck McDonald. Those two are just hanging out back there. Most likely, Chuck likes to run a little middle to high, is about where he's at. Brad is also following in that footsteps. But if you don't want to really lose a draft either here, draft does come into effect. So if you get more than a second behind, you do have a chance to lose those leaders. So he's just got to
Yeah,
kind of stay with Chuck, be on the same mantra with Chuck, and hopefully those guys Maybe they're counting on a caution or
Yeah,
taking it out even further than what they would need to.
yeah. The magic number is a second. If you get out beyond a second behind the guy in front of you, you're pretty much losing the draft. Second, and you got to really work
Ooh,
hard to
as
get
we
that.
so man,
That could have been
Robert
a lot
McDonald
worse.
just got up into the side there. Brian Boyd is home. We got a
Oh,
spinner
yeah, we
right
got a
here
spinner.
as we got Andrew Spears around. During that French race, it's going to remain green here. There's only one car involved, but yeah, I mean, now
Figured out.
that could have been really bad. Um, as Andrew Spears just got it sideways coming out of turn number 4 underneath it,
Well,
and I think that has a lot to do with
he did
the
get it
package
going
here.
though. He did get it going, and he'll come down and
Yep.
make a quick pit stop, and it shouldn't hurt him. Then he'll be eligible for a lucky dog. But yeah, he went into the wall pretty hard on the front end. Not a lot of damage. I'd be surprised if there's even a quick repair, but he seemed to pull it back together and getting back up to speed and see what happens. But he's still. I wouldn't count him out. He's got a pretty fast race car, and they will be pitting, and he just got to hang in there and be patient.
It's just one of those things that happens on the track. Two guys just got together and it happens, and you just gotta stay in the race and fight your way back up there. And he's like you said, Jim, he's definitely not out of it yet.
No, not at all. Yeah, no. And it's
It's
crazy
Christopher
what air.
Rawling. Something had to have happened to Christopher Rawling. He's a lap down, rolling around
Yeah,
on the
he's
bottom.
got some damage. I don't know.
His front, yeah,
Oh,
his
there it
left
is.
There you
front is
go. There
not.
you
So
go.
he had a lot of bad damage. Yeah, he came
Yeah.
down and
You think tires are starting to?
Ooh,
Well, that was
Cochran got in the. Yeah,
little.
that wasn't tires.
that
Well,
should have been a
That
caution.
was
That should have been a
Yeah,
that
caution.
that
he
was a
came
part of that.
down.
Yep.
Yeah, he came down to avoid the car going up in the wall, and that just happened to be a bad situation going bad. But
Wow.
I was looking at Chris Rollins' paint scheme, and he must have an in with Rowdy Bush because he's got the paint scheme on his Chevy already. So he's a year ahead of the NASCAR season. So I noticed that the other night. I was like, he's running a Rowdy paint scheme on his Chevy. So yeah, that was just a bad deal where Robert Cochran didn't see him come. Well, he saw him coming down, but didn't see the accident ahead. And Rollins checked up, and you're right. That should have been a caution. But the admins must be asleep at the wheel. Barney's arm's tired from Saturday, I guess, so he didn't want to wave the yellow flag. But
Yeah, that mega wonder review, but that, like you said, I mean, if you don't call it out, you're not going to get it. So whether these guys, and I'm sure somebody's got to be in Discord and said something, but yeah, that's just an unfortunate series of events there. So as now Christopher Rawlings is now 2 laps down, but if he's another caution should come out, then he'll get at least one of those back, maybe work his way around. So it's not over yet.
no, it's. I mean, and Rawlings is fast. He's got a fast car, and like you said, it's patience, and you got to learn that quick, right, Jay? Patience.
Yeah, I know that patience thing. Yeah, that kind of bit me in the iconic race, running up there, and thought I could get more than I could with what I had, and ended up taking myself out. So, absolutely,
Yeah,
patience is
that
key out
happens.
here.
Yeah, yeah. And you live and learn. You learn by your mistakes. We all do.
Oh my goodness!
Okay.
As we see,
Oh,
Brian Boyd just got up into the back of Ethan
Ethan.
Thompson, moved him out of the way. Ethan was great job of saving it, but man, that was an aggressive move there. As Brian Boyd just tried to
That,
go under. Oh, I'm not sure if there was a closing rate. Ethan got on it. I'm not sure what happened there, but that's an unlikely move from Brian Boyd to do that for,
yeah,
especially to the.
that took about 2 laps off of Ethan's tires there.
Yeah,
So
good save on Ethan's part though.
really,
He's a
really
good
good save.
driver and all that, and he saved that well. I mean, it was a beautiful save. I mean, bad circumstance, but just drop back a little bit. I mean, the same battle's there. I mean, we still got these 4 cars in a group. It's been an amazing race between these 4. As Biznet's
Really,
coming alive.
yeah, yeah. And Bisnet, you don't know whether he's tire saving or fuel saving. He's the most that I know that can clutch a vehicle so much and save fuel. And he's not good on tires, saving tires. He's working on that, but he does work the clutch pedal well.
All right, as we roll in 20, we haven't really touched much on the YouTube chat tonight, so I'm just going to reach out there. Sharon O'Neill, as I mentioned earlier, she is actually going to be showing up later on in the broadcast, so stay tuned for that. And actually get a picture of Sharon as she pulls the numbers for the 50-50, Janelle Valduzin. We haven't seen Janelle in a while. Say good evening, everyone. Great to have you back, Janelle. You and Dustin, we miss you guys up here. Obviously wonderful. You guys have been very busy at your home track. We understand that, and it's great to have you guys back. Terry Lloyd, that's Mama Boyd. She says, not my first showing. Or not sure if it's my first post showed. Really miss Mission 22. Brian Boyd, good luck on your race. And we've seen Brian actually work his way to the front, so he's doing that. And she also said, congratulations, Ethan. Jim, you responded out there. Congratulations. Tyler chimed in. Good luck, everyone. Thanks for your service. And my sister's memorial race on Friday. Tyler, I can tell you that it was our pleasure to run that race. That was probably one of the best races I was ever watched, rewatched, and was entered in. So if that didn't make your sister proud, I don't know what did. Jim?
Yeah, we're back on the track, and Biznet's he's got following in where's he at right now?
P2.
Second position, and holding his own, and he's doing good right now. Ethan's dropped back a little bit, seemed to gather the car back together, and he's running behind Brian. So they seem to gather it back together and doing okay. But
I think that that's going to be an oops moment later. You're going to put that in your memory bank and say, well, it is the last
yeah,
race of the season,
yeah, I
so
mean, it could have been a good luck. I mean, congratulations, Cap. But a couple people on chat also stated where the drivers are from, and Brian Boyd is from Tennessee, and Robert Cochran is from Connecticut. So as we learn more about the guys and where they're from the text chat, from the live chat, that really helps us knowing where everybody's at, and it's good to know, Uh,
absolutely. Well, we know our
Only now we
Canadians
got
out
little
there.
Chuck doing a run. Ethan.
Yeah, Chuck made his
Chuck-
way around some cars out there, and he's been working his way slowly to the front. He fell back. He was one of the cars that fell back with Bradley Hunt. Bradley Hunt kind of remained where that was at, but Chuck's car came to life, and now he's working his way back up.
I'm
Rolls
really
around the
surprised.
5th position.
I'm really surprised how the low groove is. They're running the low groove. Usually, Michigan's halfway track up, and run the bottom. I think you're gonna wear the tires a little bit more. Could be wrong, but where you working the tires a lot harder on the turn and burn the right front up a little bit. But we got 3 wide going down the front stretch now with the new guy in the 10 car getting suckered there. But
Yeah, it's Robert McDonald.
Yeah, he's doing very well. So.
And he's not letting him get away too much. So those Canadians, they say they're nice, but they've been playing a little dirty tonight, it looks like, out there. As he almost put the bumper to the
They're
back
racing
of
hard.
Chuck.
What was last week they were talking to Hal. I'll come back to it. My mind's not right now here. I'll come back to that. Hold that thought.
Okay, we'll hold that thought. Is right now where you see Chuck McDonald make a huge run. Another one that fell back. I mean, Chuck started. Where did he start today? Let me see here if I can pull that up. 6th. So he qualified 6th. He fell back to about 10th. Hung back there with Bradley Hunt, and now saved his tires enough to come back through the field. Now we know that Ethan. Oh, is Ethan and Chuck get together? Ethan's just not having a good night. These guys do not, I guess they're all giving him a congratulations tap during the race rather than afterwards.
Yeah, everybody's doing it.
So, but he's able to hold on there. So Ethan Thompson really, it looks like, the 2-time champion doesn't have any friends out there tonight, guys.
No, I think they're trying to show, hey, we're going to be here for next season and challenge you for that, so you don't have a three-peat.
Yep. Yeah, and Rollins is in there mixing up a little bit, running 2 laps down, just running with everyone and hoping the cautions will lie and where he can get his lap backs, and because he pitted, so he'll be all right for a while. If he may get a couple laps back, if the caution drops, he'll get a couple of them back. So who knows?
It's only about 9-lap older tires. So if you're talking 9-lap newer tires, these guys are running 25, 26 right now at the line. I mean, that's a huge advantage on that. And he may actually be able to drive his car around Devin Zimmerman and get one back the hard way, pray for a caution to come out, and get the other one on the lucky dog, and then be back on the lead lap contending for the end here. So something
Yep.
gonna have to keep an eye on. But right now he's in the capper seat. But if the only thing that's gonna hurt him is when these guys do pit, they're gonna be that advantage is gonna go away.
Yeah, but for what 9 laps roughly, when the tails around and they get back after the green flag pit stops go, he'll have like a 9 lap advantage on him with the new tires. So if a caution does fly, but I believe that Barney really don't want to throw a caution tonight. I think he wants to see it go green and give that arm a rest.
Right.
He was busy in Martinsville last night. We had 11 cautions in the Gas and Go series last night, so he's pretty tired from Martinsville and all day in Bristol, and so he's pretty tired. He had a long weekend, so
Yeah, it's been a very, very long, fun week of racing, though. Absolutely, this past week has been a lot of racing was done. I think overall we put down close to 1,000 miles
yeah.
in between.
Talk about Canadians. Luke he's jumped up there now. He's getting behind Chuck, and the Canadians will start to work together. But what I wanted to say earlier was Shelton was mentioning last week on how hard um, it is to get around Chuck McDonald. He's a Ryan Newman on the track. Very hard to get around, and he holds his line and he'll run you hard. Going for the lead or holding on the lap, and he's a very aggressive driver, and he's very hard to get around. But Chuck and all is pretty clean driver though, but he does race you hard.
Right, and now here's a question for everybody. Maybe since they buried the Queen today, it's been a very sad state over there, and I know England's going through the turmoil and
Yes,
everything like that. But with the Canadian drivers now under the England rule, do you think maybe they're trying to make a statement for their Queen and their new king?
very possible. Yeah, it's a shame what happened over there, and we know we're praying every day for the country that they'll get it back in line. And we prayed for the Queen and what she's did for that country for years. It's been amazing. Um, but like I said, there's some turmoil now, and they'll work it out. Like we have turmoil in the United States, so they'll work it out. But yeah, I think the Canadians are coming out to represent tonight. They've
Absolutely,
been
as we've seen
they've been
Chuck move
alerted.
his way to second. I mean,
Yeah,
he's worked his way to second. He was up. He was in 3 seconds of the leader of Devin Zimmerman up front. We haven't really seen Devin Zimmerman after he took off. So, but yeah, 4 seconds back. But there's Devin,
yeah, they're having out
and
there
there's
working.
Rollins that's coming up on him. So there's that.
Yep, and he'll give him company for a little bit. There's nothing worse than running. Well, not really, nothing worse. I mean, having a good lead like that, and all of a sudden it gets real quiet, and you're wondering how you're doing, and you start hearing different things on the engine, and uh, thinking something's going to break, and something's not feeling right. You get out front like that, it's like you're all alone, and if your mind goes to the car. And but when you're racing in traffic, you don't think about all that. It's interesting when you're out there all by yourself and what goes through your mind. Um, right now, he's seeing dollar signs going through his head and that big trophy in Victory Lane tonight. That's what he's looking at right now, but he's got to jump back and regroup because they got 70 laps to go or 60 laps to go, and we got a pit stop, and he's got to count on his crew for a good stop. And but getting out front like that, it can be a mind thing to where it can drive you a little bit crazy. I'd rather be running in the pack and keeps you busy, makes laps go by quicker than right now. He's running about a 40-second lap, and it feels like
41.93 on the last lap.
60 seconds. So uh,
Right, and Christopher Rawlings that
he's just
last lap, he ran a 41.605. Devin ran a 42.106, so he's a little over a second quicker with
yeah.
on 17 lap old tires. Devin's on 32 lap tires right now. So the difference in the about what
So
16 laps or so, 15 laps is
yeah,
about a second on the track.
yeah, yep. Now did he back on 1 lap down now, or is he still 2 laps
He
down?
will be after he makes his pass on Devin here. He'll
After
be
he
one
makes
mile.
that pass, Bradley Hunt is now in the pit, so he's
Yep.
pitting on lap 32. I'm not sure if that's a scheduled stop. I'm assuming it would be, but yeah, I think you called it there about 30 laps, so it could be a two-stop race if things work out. They would have to pit on lap 35 and then add they're in before lap 40. They'll definitely have to be 2 stops. If they go past 45, it'll be 1 stop. So who's going to take it out? I don't know. With Chuck moving to the front, that tells me that he was saving, realized he doesn't have enough to save. So he's
Right.
just going to try and work his way to the front, as he
Exactly.
is now within 4 seconds. So he gained another second and really pulling away from that second pack that's it was being led by Luc Desjardins and Brian Boyd. And you got a couple of heavy hitters in that second pack there with Ethan Thompson and Andrew Bisnet.
But
So I mean,
they're
these
all running different groups, though. They need to get really in single line, and just like Talladega last week, you get in line and you can make up some time, and or not let Devin pull away as much as he's doing right now. Um, Work as a draft and let the draft. You can be a little bit quicker in the draft rather than being what they're doing is running 3 or 4 wide and looking for air for their front end, I guess.
Yeah, we're not in the car. We really can't tell exactly what these guys do, but they do put on one heck of a show week in and week out in here in the Vets and First Responders League. And every week it seems like we've got a different battle going on in different parts of the track as Brian Boyd and Ethan Thompson now. Here we go. This is one to watch because let's see if Ethan's going to put a little bit of that pressure on that inside door there and just say, "Hi, Brian, remember me from earlier? Yeah, I'm right here."
I don't think Ethan
But
would
no, we
do
do have one more. Robert McDonald is coming out of the pits, so that's
that. Okay.
2 that have unpitted within 35. So well, I guess Devin Zimmerman is flashing in and out. So that's something else to keep an eye on. If his internet drops, that's going to give the lead right to Chuck McDonald.
Yeah, it looks like Brad Hunt pitted also. He's running a lap down. McDonald's in the pit right now currently. So a couple early picks. They're seeing how good that Rollins is doing. So hey, they want their new tires now. Maybe close the gap a little bit.
And that's probably what they're thinking. They're probably thinking, hey, I'll pit a little early, the pit window's closing, get some fresh tires on, see if I can make up some of that time to get back up there. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out and how far like Devin or Chuck or Luke can actually make it on a fuel run. That's where it's going to come into play.
Yeah, in NASCAR they call that a short pit when they come in 10, 15 laps before the actual leader does to try to make up the time. Um, but with that, they really need to bank on a caution after the pit stops recycle, where they make up a little bit of time before they get the chance to run their tires, their new tires, and have the old guys on the old tires. So it's called a short pit.
What we're doing, and there's a good battle as we've seen Andy Biz now. We've been watching him slowly get higher and higher on that track. He takes it. He was high last time on 1 and 2, and then down in 3 and 4 he was running a little bit lower. So he's maybe searching for that line. Maybe the car's wearing out and he's fallen back off the pace a little bit because he was battling with Ethan Thompson, and now those two fell back 6 seconds behind Devin Zimmerman. And the only one who seems to be on par right now and keeping pace with Devin Zimmerman is Chuck McDonald, and he's having one heck of a run. So it's good to see Chuck up there battling for it. Luc Desjardins, our 2 Canadian guys. And really, Michigan's not too far from Canada, so I guess you can consider this their
Yeah.
home track.
Oh yeah, I would say so.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure Chuck actually goes to the race every time it's in Michigan.
Yes, he does. He's got season tickets, and he brings his camper down. He comes down with his dad, and they spend a week in Michigan. So it's a good family time for him and his dad to get together, and they have a good time. You know, they say they hit the good sales rack that's on the backstretch at Michigan, and get some good sales.
Well, there you go. I think last time, yeah, I think he did say he got almost rain. There was a lot of rain there
Yeah,
this last trip, so he almost got
well,
washed down the
it
river.
was like a hurricane that came through, a chain tornado. Really did some havoc and did some damage actually at Michigan Speedway.
Yeah, Dustin, you're up from that area in like the Minnesota area. I know those Great Lakes. They're really, really big, and they create pretty much their own weather up there, don't they?
Yeah, for the most part. I'm in the southwest corner of Minnesota, so I don't get too much of the Great Lakes stuff. I get more of we got like we call it the Buffalo Ridge here. We get the ridge weather. You just never know what's going to happen, if it's going to part here or come through. But yeah, the Great Lakes you can get that snow effect, snow and all that. You can get the lake effect stuff. I mean, pretty good wind and all that. So, but like I said, I don't live up by them, so I don't know much about them. I mean, as far as it comes down, like what kind of weather they can actually portray.
Yeah.
As we see Ethan Thompson now going underneath Luke Desjardins. So a lot of the drivers that drove their way up earlier
And it's
are
not
now starting to fade back a little bit, all except for Chuck. I mean, Brian Boyd had that one heck of a run earlier. He's fell back from first to fifth now, so he's running fifth, 7 seconds, almost 8 seconds behind. Andrew's falling back pretty much his steady pace. So either he's trying to save it and trying to go out and make it a one-stop race because we're only 40 at 90, so we got 50 laps to go. They make it another 41 now, so if they can make it another 6 laps, they can go the half distance, and then it
45
becomes
laps. Yeah, I think that's what they're shooting for is to 45 laps, make it a one stop, and they want to really make it to lap 45, uh, then and split the run.
It's a shame because Robert McDonald, Bradley Hunt, and Robert Cochran, Christopher Rawlings obviously had a little bit of an issue. Robert Cochran got into the back of him, so he hasn't been up front, and that's a shame because Robert's really strong here. But he did take his pit stop
Yeah,
2 laps ago, so he's on 2 lap fresh tires. So he's one of the freshest ones right now. Just going short of that halfway. I'm sure he took his fast repair, and hopefully he can work his way back up front. And that's probably not a bad strategy considering where he was at, had the damage, come in, get to quick repair, get 4 fresh tires. You've obviously seen him as Rawlings just like drove around Devin Zimmerman, so you know you're going to get that time early. And with 3 laps before halfway, that's going to put you pretty much on the same roll off as these guys. I mean, 3 laps really isn't too much. I'd say probably what, half a tenth to a tenth a lap.
I would say at least that. I mean, if you see now, we're seeing the lap cars are now passing your second, third, fourth place cars, and they're fast. And you're leading. You're in the top two or three, and these cars are it's a tease. Where they pass you like you're on jack stands, and it's like, wow, what am I doing? But you're doing the right thing because you have to remember as many laps as they've been out there, you get your new tires, you come back out, and you're gonna be as fast as they were then than you will be present. So it's an interesting uh, field with the tires and what it does to you in your mind can play some dangerous things. So
Absolutely. As we run through the field, if you want to start up front there,
Yep.
camera right there on Devin Zimmerman, who has been leading, and he's been leading quite a bit of this race. He has quite a few laps under him.
pretty
40,
dominant so far.
yeah, dominating. Kind of fell back early, but just took it easy the first few laps there, and now worked his way back up to first. And there's Chuck McDonald, who had one heck of a run. Tried going fall into the back, letting the car come to him, and he's driven his way to second, 6 seconds behind the leader. So he's having a good run tonight.
Yeah, but Devins, he was just being cautious, like you said at the beginning. Everybody's go, 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 and let him go. He's got a good car. He had a great car in practice, and let him go. Go burn your tires out, and then I'll take over. You know.
Right, and there's a third and fourth spot of Ethan Thompson, who had a little bit of an issue. Nobody's his friend out there. He hit the wall. He's been hit off other people's side. A great save. Collected it back up, let the guys race it out, wear out their equipment. And now he's running up in the third position. Right behind him is Luke Desjardins, the other Canadian driver in the field. And Luke is having a great run tonight in that fourth position. So definitely looking good out there. And there is Brian Boyd,
Mission
who
20 statement.
Yeah, Mission 22. Great cause out there. I love to see Brian Boyd out here on track. He's been very strong. Had a great start to this race. Led a few laps. Showed his dominance really early on those fresher tires. And we're right now at halfway. So we shall see. I'm sure these guys will be coming in within the next lap or two. And behind Brian should be Andrew Biznett, who is 22 seconds behind. So he's maybe, I don't know. That's kind of a long way to be hauling it off for 22 seconds behind to try and make that a distance up, especially if they go green all the way. But
It's
right
coming
now
on
he's
pit
running in
road now.
sixth position, so he's on pit road now.
We
Ethan Thompson, Andrew Biznett, Andrew Spears as well is also on pit road,
and also Chuck McDonald as well.
and Chuck comes down.
Oh, Chuck
So
missed
Jep,
his pit stall. He had to back up.
that's
No,
gonna
that's gonna
be
hurt.
that's gonna definitely hurt and back him up a little bit more as there was a gap there. Devin Zimmerman's going to be on the freshest tires, and that may actually not work to Chuck's advantage, especially overshooting the pit, because that little bit of time that he would have gained, he gave up by overshooting the pit.
Luke Desjardins on pit road along with Brian Boyd.
Yeah, these guys are going to definitely. So they did make it halfway. So it's going to be a one-stop race for most of these guys. Bradley Hunt, Robert Cochran, Andrew Spears, Christopher Rawlings is going to definitely have to take another pit stop there. He did fall to 2 laps down again, so I'm assuming he might have come in again just to try and stay on the tires. Um, that would be, I would assume, a strategy, but now it's still showing him on 32 laps was his last time in. So just I guess how it all plays out, but. The best thing that Christopher can hope for is a caution through these pit cycles as these guys come back out,
And
get
there's our leader.
reacclimated to the car.
And that leader
And here,
sitting pit road.
all right. So now everybody has got their pit stops are completed.
It'll be interesting how these guys cycle out. I mean, a couple of guys came in about 2 laps before Devin did. We'll see. It's going to be interesting how this cycles out and see how it cycles over to who's the leader.
Yes, we're gonna have to just watch the time says everything's gonna flip flop here once people get down because you had Bradley Hunt who was out there who's gonna make up time. He may even end up more towards the front and flip flop this field a little bit. But once the tires get rounded out and laps more get underneath them, they're going to work their way back through the field. So looks like as far as pits go, we've got Christopher Rawlings 34 laps on his tires, so he's definitely going to have to come in soon if he wants to maintain what little gap he's got. Now would be the time to do it. I would just go just because it would keep you on the same tire strategy, and maybe you won't lose too much time on the overall. But Robert McDonald, who did pit, Robert McDonald pitted. He's on 16 lap tires, so he pitted in that one with Bradley Hunt about 16 to 18 laps ago, and he right now he's running up front, so he takes over. He's going to get his points for leading some laps. So good job to see the new guy come out here. That's surprising. He's another Canadian driver, putting it out there. And you see Devin Zimmerman closing that gap though at 5:55, 5:56. He was really like Devin on that first run. I'm talking about 10 laps for his tires to come in before he started to work his way to the front.
Yeah, good run by Robert McDonald. He's a newer guy here. That's from what I've learned from you guys, and he's having a good run. Devin Zimmerman will eat him up though with these new tires. So we can see on the telemetry, he's down within under 5 seconds behind. He's gonna slowly catch him for sure.
Yeah, that gap is slowly closing in. And like I said, I mean, you're talking 17 laps. We saw how much 9 laps of a difference made.
Right.
So you're talking 17 right now. And Devin's putting down some times here. Let's see. Devin Zimmerman's last lap was a 42.25, and Roberts was a 41.648. So they're talking a little over 1.5 seconds difference between Devin Zimmerman and Robert McDonald right now as they roll around. Lap
Nice.
with 40 to go, so we're at 60. Nope, I'm sorry. Scratch that. 50 of 90. I need to go back to my math, and my math teacher would be very proud that I did not get that right. So.
As Chuck McDonald takes over third place from Brad Hunt with a fly job, but that just goes down to tires. These guys that pit this just recently, they're gonna start flying around these guys, and it's gonna be interesting when these guys that stopped early stop again.
Yeah, and I think maybe Bradley Hunt was thinking like if he did a 2-stop, that's what they were gonna do, and it just didn't work to his favor. So he's definitely not gonna be on a 2-stop strategy. The rest of the guys took it out halfway. A lot more guys took it more than halfway than I thought. I'm surprised that only 5 or 6 guys are on the 2-stop strategy, and the rest of the field is on the 1. Jim?
Yeah, but again, what dictated was earlier in the race when the 3 guys got together, and that changed a couple of minds on the pit stops on others. But overall, I mean, looking for a caution here is going to be tough because they get spread out, and Michigan's a big track, and you got your little 1 and 2 cars, but to get a caution, I don't think they're going to have a caution. I think it's going to go green to the end, and the one with the best pit strategy, I think, is going to take the win, and that holds the tires the best. But right now it's good racing. We have 10 cars on the lead lap, and they're all racing hard right now. You guys, you can see we're Biznett and
Snett
Luke there,
Spears
and
and Luke Desjardins
Luke
are all right there. You're
all
watching.
racing together. So yeah, it's hard to say. You know, they're all running their own race, and seeing what the outcome is, and they're just trying to stay out of trouble and just run laps. That's all you can do.
Well, that's like with
Absolutely.
BizNet making that announcement earlier that they're gonna throw some stages in here next year for next season starting next week, and that's gonna make this racing tighten up even more.
That's going to be
You
for
know,
the points race. He said they were not going to throw a caution. They were just going to
Oh,
do the freeze the field at 25 and 50.
oh, okay.
So it's not going to be, cautions that are going to be thrown. They're just going to race through, but they're
like
going to
it
add
used to.
stage points. So that could lead to more cautions, obviously. These guys are going to, I mean, especially in tight points battles. And the way that these guys have been rolling around here for the past 6 seasons, I don't really see season 7 ending up ever any different. As Devin Zimmerman got around, Robert McDonald is now 7 seconds ahead. So, I mean, he is really on a tear tonight.
I mean, the last couple of weeks we've had what 4 or 5 new guys on, and from the field, and we're hoping that we can build a field to 20 cars. With stage racing, the more cars you get in there, the better off it is with points, and it could be anybody. Um, we had the stages in the truck series we tried, and it went pretty well. And Ethan Thompson won the truck series championship, and he had a whole pocket full of stage points that gave him the victory. So
Let's see
stage
someone coming
racing
down the
does
pit
make it
road.
close.
Right, and man, yeah, Robert McDonald does come down for his pit after he got around there at Devin Zimmerman, so he saw what tires will do. So that's going to pretty much put him towards the back of this. We still got Bradley Hunt, so he'll be racing with Bradley Hunt and Christopher Rawlings, who did, I believe, pit. I know Christopher Rawlings still out there on 42 laps of tires. He's running a 42 228, so they did kind of. If you look at the overall, Bradley Hunt on 25 lap tires ran at 42.004, and Christopher Rawlings at 42 laps ran 42.228. So Christopher Rawlings is definitely going to be on the move if he can catch something that should happen. Yeah, I kind of agree with Jim that we're not going to see a caution, but at the same time, if you have a lot of these drivers out here, we did see a lot of aggressiveness trying to get around somebody. So if you have somebody who's on newer tires versus somebody who's on older tires trying to get around them, it could cause an issue.
Yeah, I mean, it very well could be, but with them all spread out like they are, it's unless they're like that. Look at the front straight incident. You know what I mean? That should have been caution, and they didn't call it. So,
Right.
there was a good distance between the two. When the accident happened. So yeah, it's very possible. I'm not counting it out 1,000%, but right now I would say, looking at it, what would Larry Moreno say? The trend says, at this point, it's possible we're going to be green to the end. So
Right. Yeah,
uh,
our trending in the Vets and First
yeah,
Responders League after halfway is very good. There's probably if anybody is a betting person out there, they can go to the Firecracker Casino up there and put down it's 2-1 that the race is going to go green the rest of the way. So,
well, you never know. Devin may want to stop and get a donut and a coffee or something. Maybe ice cream. His crew chief's got ice cream right now, and they did their job. They got him in 4 tires on fuel, so they're sitting on the pit box right now eating ice cream while he's out there driving his tail off. But he might want to come in and get some ice cream.
he's got a good lead over Chuck McDonald, who, when they went in, Chuck was about 6 laps, but we saw him overshoot his pit. Did make up a little bit of time, but it wasn't enough as Devin Zimmerman held out for good two laps past that. And you can just see the difference that 2 laps will make over the field. He came in, hit his marks perfectly, and he's back out on track running 41.23. Chuck McDonald's now about 10 seconds behind the field. But the biggest battle right now is between Ethan Boyd and Brian Thompson, also right here with Bradley Hunt and Andrew Spears. I did see Andrew Spears getting higher and higher, and it looks like he may be flirting with catching that wall coming off there. So,
I love
uh,
the camera shot.
The gyro.
Yes, the gyro cam.
I
It
love that
definitely
camera.
does make you feel like the banking the track, and how flat it is going down the back stretch. You doing that third turn, 18 degrees blanking, and it doesn't look like it's banked that far until you actually look at the gyro. It's like
It's amazing to see it.
and and in the sim you are leaning to the left, helping turn it, but you're really not. But you're holding on left. Uh, yeah. Sometimes I
That's why
think
they
we
were
can
going to
put,
install seatbelts on your. I heard they were going to install
well,
seatbelts for you because you almost fell out of your chair at Bristol.
yeah, I did. At Bristol, I was pretty much laying sideways by the time we got done. So I think seatbelts will become mandatory for sim racers.
That was the April Fool's joke last April that they were if you streamed
If it's
iRacing, you had
streamed,
to wear
yeah,
seatbelts.
yep.
Yeah.
But a few of them did wear seatbelts.
Yep,
You know,
there are some.
yeah. I think that'd be really important. It's the safety first thing. You know, we preach safety first all the time to our grandkids, and I think it's something that I know when Jay started first iRacing, he was wearing a helmet. So
Nice.
I think he retired
Concussion
with a helmet.
protocol.
Yeah, that's so when his wife would come in and bop him over the head while he was racing, you know, to protect him.
That's right. Until I
But
found out where the lock was on the door.
yeah, we got Brian Boyd. Looks like him and Ethan are now pacing around each other, and but
Yeah, Ethan made the pass for third place here. These two have been having a battle on the track the whole night. It's been amazing to watch these two race against each other. They race against each other a lot in any other series as well. And but Boyd's coming right back, wants it back, wants third
not,
place back.
Yeah, I
he's
mean it's a great battle going on in between Ethan and Brian Boyd. Brian Boyd showed a lot of speed early. I don't know if I'd be pushing it this hard, especially knowing the fall off that he had running from first to fifth. And these guys aren't really too far behind. Bradley Hunt, Andrew Spears, and Biznett. I mean, those guys are really battling back there, but they're only about 6, 7 seconds behind these two. So they may want. Oh, somebody's around on the front stretch here. That is
oh,
McDonald,
looks like McDonald. Yeah,
Robert
yeah,
McDonald, guys.
inside the wall and through the grass, and it looks
It
like a
looks
little
like he
single car.
just got
Single
loose
car.
or maybe a steering wheel disconnect. I don't know. It's kind of hard to
That's
tell
that
what
fresh
happened
tires.
here.
Well, he got on
That's
the
that
brakes,
fresh tires.
yeah. And then coming down there, he could have
Ooh.
and then back down on the grass, and now he's shaking it off and saying what happened. Um,
Yeah,
we
what
got Rollins
happened?
coming off pits.
Yeah, we
We
got
had cars on pit road.
yeah, all the guys that pitted at around that early pit, they're just pitting now. So
Right, that's gonna
everyone
leave
but
Bradley
Brad
Hunt out
Hunt.
there on the other tire. Yeah,
Yep.
Bradley Hunt's 33 laps now on the tires. He's right about 16 laps behind Devin Zimmerman on tires. He did hold out, I think, 3 laps after Cochran and McDonald pitted, but McDonald, I think, was forced back down pit road, especially after that spin.
That's a
So,
shame because he had a fast car tonight too.
yeah,
Just
he was battling up front early. I mean, he
Brad,
actually led a couple laps around here. Bradley Hunt is coming down pit road now.
I'm watching Andrew Spears. You know, he had that early incident for driving back up to fifth place now. He's sticking in there. He's racing hard with these guys. You know, that's why if something happens, you stay on the track and you just keep going and you never know what's gonna happen.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
he
it,
was
and
involved in that earlier incident too with Robert Cochran when Robert got into the back of him, just coming off. I think there was a big checkup there earlier.
Yep.
So to drive his way back to a fifth, I mean, that's one heck of a run considering there was no caution thrown.
looks like Luke just pushed up a little bit, and looks like he just tapped the outside wall in that one coming off turn two, just on this last lap. Looks like the tires are starting to push in and starting to wear a little bit. The cars are starting to push up a little bit and changing the handling character of the cars. But as I was alluding to, you know, TDR, we have a lot of new members that just joined recently in this past season, and we have a lot of really good drivers that are coming in on the regular basis. We're always looking for good drivers to come in. We're looking for bad drivers that we can help. Um, we are, you know, family friendly drivers, and we try to help everybody. And we want everybody to be good, you know. But if there's sim racers out there that don't know us and it's their first time viewing the event, fill out the application and come on board. We'd love to have you.
Absolutely. And then it moved, I believe. We are on Facebook. You can just reach out to us on Facebook at Tyler Daniels Racing. We'll be more than happy to take you, apply for any league. If you know any vet or first responder, anybody who puts on a uniform, and they are an iRacer or they want to get interested in iRacing, but they're not sure, tell them to come out here, join this league. These guys will be more than happy to work with them. They can get a taste of what TDR is about first and foremost, and what racing in general is about, and they will get the help that they need. Brian Boyd is a product of that. Last year, he came on and he started watching us the last few races, and then by the end of the season, um, he went out, got a Jeff McConey setups, and really came all in. And really, since he's joined TDR, he has been. He had a rough start, but we all have a rough start in TDR. But he's knocking on that win no matter where we go. And I was expecting last week he had looking right at the finish line and
I mean, last
at
week with
Talladega.
yeah, last week with the penalties he had and the drive that he had that he came back from, 2 laps down, with the penalties that he got served from a prior eviction with Ethan Thompson. I'm not sorry, with Robert Cochran, which was a pretty heavy
That
penalty
was a pretty severe penalty that he had to go overcome.
that he had to go to, and starting on pit road and couldn't take off until after the leaders went by, and he was behind the 8 ball way early in the race, and he made it up, and where he was leading the laps, it did really good coming back. So my hat's off to him, and it just shows that stay out of trouble and run clean, and you can do it, especially on
Absolutely, and
speedway,
no doubt. And you got to figure the mindset of, most of racers out there. When you go on to an official race, there can be toxic environments out there. A lot of guys I know, if you go back and rewatch the McConey race that we all did for Elizabeth Wisniewski on Friday, even Jeff McConey, their drivers were saying that, we are one of the cleanest leagues that you will race against, so the cleanest drivers that you'll race against. And there's a reason for that because we have rules set in place to make it
that
that way. So
that Bisnet coming in the pits right now.
Yep.
yeah, Andrew Bisnet is coming into the pits. He did tap that outside wall. I think he's coming in for some damage. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Sorry,
I was
sorry to
watching him a
interrupt
little
there,
bit.
Jay. I saw him
No,
coming
no,
down
no, it's
the road
okay. And
and
Robert McDonald,
like,
he's out with mechanical issues, so he's our first casualty of the night. But it was good to see him out here, come down and run some laps.
yeah,
But back to what I was saying. We are one of the cleanest leagues that we have. We have rules in place, and when you break those rules, there are penalties that you have to pay, just like regular racing. But
Yep.
Brian Boyd learned from them, came back out, and look at him. He's running third tonight, racing Ethan Thompson. So, I mean,
yeah,
great guys, great people.
yeah, you don't
Come
want to
on
get
out.
called. You don't want to get called to the TDR trailer. It's not a fun place to be. Uh, and
No,
and admins, we don't like to hand out the penalties either, but to keep it fair, to keep the league the way that we want it to be, is to be family friendly and no berating and talking down to others. And we're here to talk up with people and to help people, not to berate them. So, but yeah,
help is there if you want it.
yeah, if you want it. Sometimes you get too much help and you overdo yourself and drive you crazy. Uh,
Now
but
I'm
yeah,
looking at. Sorry, Jim. Keep going.
no, I was just saying Ethan's jumped on the back door of they're running better together, I think, with Boyd in front of Ethan right now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure their lap times are running and whether they're closing in or not, but that's what they need to do to catch the leader.
Oh, and that's what I was just kind of watching that. So I went to the far chase camera here. If you look up in the top of the screen, there is Chuck McDonald there in second place, and they kind of game, but they kind of lose from what I've been watching.
Okay.
But these two together could help catch them with 18 to go. I'm not sure if they can get to Chuck, but they could put some pressure on him.
Yeah, I mean, and do need to stay nose to tail, which is hard at Michigan because of the you get an arrow push, and if you're not close enough, and you'll push up coming up, and the other car behind won't, and so they're doing a decent job trying to stay together. Uh, if Ethan can get up a little bit farther behind him and get up under that bumper, it would really help. But it seems like they run their two separate lines in a turn, straightaways to get back together again. But I'm not sure what their lap differences are right now as far as if they are closing in or holding the same.
Last lap, Chuck ran a 41.899, 41.704 for Brian Boyd, and a 41.715. So that lap, they were just about a tenth quicker. That's not going to be enough to get there. They're going to need more speed than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
But they're running two separate lines. I mean, you see Thompson go high one side, low the next. I mean, they're kind of like bouncing back and forth, just searching for lines that they think that, their car is running comfortably, but they're really not helping each other out as far as the draft. Only down the back straight and the front straight where they actually get into it. But, two different lines, maybe Ethan needs that air on his bumper to get that car to turn. I
And
see
you got
Christopher Rawlings now
Christopher
coming back
Rollins
around.
taking up, correct. Yep, I just saw that too in the camera, and I'm like, yeah, there we go. Like I
So
said, Chris
Christopher,
Rollins, he's been so fast. The last couple of
yeah,
weeks, he's been really fast and doing really well and adjusting in, and it takes some time to learn, running with the drivers on what they want to do and how they drive, and it takes time. You jump into a league, and it's so much fun after you get to know the guys and know what they can do, and it's awesome. It's really good.
yeah, come on out and battle the Downham brothers. We're usually out there, what, 5, 6 days a week, Jim? You're going to find one of us out there on track, and we're going to hear her
Seems
in the
like
booth on Monday.
it. Yeah, seems like it.
Work never ends. Work never ends.
That's right. Yeah. But
Uh,
it's so much fun. I enjoy it. I love doing it, and I met a lot of nice people from TDR along the way. A lot of good friends. Like
yeah,
I said,
I found Jim Downham on here. I didn't even know I had a Jim Downham. I found him, and come to find out, we were long lost brothers. So you never know what you're going to find out here on this service.
exactly. It brought Jay and I got closer together, and we went our ways. The next thing you know, we're racing. It's like, Jay, you got iRacing. Jim, you got Jay, join our league. And here he is. Now he's an admin and a really good broadcaster, and so yeah, he listened to Big Brother and listened to some of my advice, but so I get a little credit there. But no, Jay does a really good job for TDR, and we're glad to have him.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And we're glad to have you as well. I mean, you've been running this league for so long. It's kind of like second nature to you. And
Oh,
anytime anybody needs help, you are like the go to guy. Andy is extremely busy doing things. He's got so much going on behind the scenes that he can't really focus too much on racing anymore.
yeah.
So it's glad to see that, you just kind of stepped up, took that spot, and you're leading TDR in a direction where we're seeing an increase in all leagues. And last year, I believe we had 9 drivers show up for the season finale. This year we have 11.
Yeah.
And that's not any fault through anybody. These guys are for vets and first responders. Do not forget that it's their first job, first and foremost. Their jobs come first. This comes second. This is a fun thing to do for them. So we do have a lot of drivers that are part-time drivers, but overall, we have about 14 or 15 throughout the season that are pretty much regulars in here. And we love to have them. It's one of the cleanest leagues, and I love coming out Monday nights. This is my way of giving back to them for so much that they give back to us. So I enjoy coming out here and putting on these shows for these guys, and look forward to Monday nights, probably more than any other night of the week. As we see Devin Zimmerman, Chuck McDonald is still 11 seconds behind, so he really, it's amazing how much just that overshoot in the pit has really hurt Chuck McDonald, because he was up within an eye shot of Devin Zimmerman on that first run. 12 laps to go. As we're going to go through the field one more time for you guys, we'll start up front as we see this. As Devin Zimmerman, there he is. He just ran a 41.74. Led most laps tonight. Gained probably one of the most, the biggest points of the night, but just not enough to close in. Going to close out on second place. So that is our season 4 champion. And he's leading the way right now. There's Chuck McDonald, who mentioned earlier had a good run. Fell to the back. Came back, raced his way almost to the front, holding in second spot. But that's going to definitely put his battle with Robert Cochran. He may gain a spot or two on the points by the time this is all said and done, running in our second spot. Look back at Brian Boyd in that Mission 22 car. We've been talking about him quite a bit lately. Great guy, great driver. Expect to see him in victory lane. Worked his way, had one heck of a run. Started on 8th or 9th and ended up coming to the front in 2 laps, led a few, and then just started to fade. But no, definitely a good driver there. So look back at the number 9 of running on the 4th position, and this season's champion is Ethan Thompson. So in DroneWorks Chevrolet, and congratulations, that's our first back-to-back champion in the TDR Vets and First Responders League. So congratulations, that's a huge accomplishment. He is on fire lately. He has been winning everything under the sun. Like I said, he just won the truck league on Tuesday night. So he's going to have 2 championships in 1 week. What a race he's having tonight, running out there in the 4th position. And behind him, in that W car, is Andrew Spears running in fifth spot. He had a little bit of an issue earlier, got into the wall. No caution was called, which was unusual, but managed to, I mean, come in. You can't really argue there. Come back and finish fifth. Running fifth right now with 9 laps to go. Great run. Great to see Andrew out here. Hopefully, we'll see some big things from him next season. He'll be out here. And behind him, we have Luke Desjardins running in the sixth position. He's the last car on the lead lap. So at 28 seconds down, Luke had a good run. He was up there running, battling for fourth, fifth, and sixth earlier. So good to see Luke out here with in the Canadian Forces car. And then behind that is Andrew Bisnet, who's running in the seventh spot, 1 lap. He's the first car 1 lap down. He did have an issue, tapped the wall, came in, got fresher tires, just trying to get back around Devin in case something should happen. He can get back with 8 laps to go. But yeah, Andrew Bisnet unfortunately may fall in the points a little bit as Brian Boyd, he was battling earlier, needed 10 points, not going to get it tonight. And there's Bradley Hunt, the other Mission 22 driver. Running in the 8th position, second car 1 lap down. Bradley Hunt started at the very back, worked his way up 3 spots, so he's having kind of a good night. Kind of battled a little bit early, but it's been very quiet tonight. But good to see Brad out there on Hunt, finishing up this season. And there's Robert Cochran, old steady there in the Navy car. He's got a little bit of damage to his right front, but he got into the back of Spears earlier. Didn't see what was going on and just kind of got it turned. And now, yeah, we expected big things, but unfortunately that early incident, I think, took him out for the night. But good to see Robert Cochran out here. He's going to have another top 10. Last car on the 1 lap down in the field. And behind him is Christopher Rawlings in that Rowdy car. Is that Chevrolet, which I know Jim was alluding to earlier. You're used to seeing the Rowdy car driving that Toyota. He's out here in the Rowdy car. Christopher Rawlings he's had a rough night, but let's see him stick it out, and he's going to bring home a top 10. We all know, we've all raced with him, and we all know that he can do a little bit better. It's a tough way to end your night, but good way to hang it out with 6 laps to go. And then our first casualty was Robert McDonald, the other Canadian driver who fell out due to mechanical issues. Kind of smacked the wall, had a little bit of an issue, probably too much repair, and just fell out of the evening. So, but good to see Robert out here. Maybe we'll see him out there in season 7. As we got a battle going on right now for the third and fourth spot. And that's a good little battle in between Ethan and Brian. Those two have been battling it out for, a good, past 20 laps as we got 5 to go.
Running nose to tail, and they're just trying to make something happen. As you can see, it's not working. So they're just running together and just running the laps down and take home their finishes and get ready for next season.
Now with Brian Boyd only having 10 points over Ethan Thompson, that could be a little bit more of a stretch. Now, if Ethan Thompson does get around, well, that's going to straighten out that points lead. But they're having a good battle. I think this is more just for fun with 4 laps to go. It's like who's going to be the top dog and who's going to take that podium spot, as the third position is up for grabs in this battle. This is a battle for position, and they are racing hard. So it's not like, we already know that Ethan wrapped up the championship and Brian Boyd's just trying to hang on if something should happen. There could be Andrew Bisnet picking up. I don't think he's going to gain 10, but as he did pick up the extra point for leading a lap. But it's a good little battle, and these guys are just battling out, having a lot of fun. And I'm sure, going to get him again on that outside. So that's the second time tonight. Brian Boyd gets that car just a little bit tight, comes up there.
It pushes a little off on 2 and pushed right on up. That's when you're turning hard left and saying, no, but I don't want to lift,
But great battle there. I mean, that's a great race going on. That's actually the closest battle we have on track at the present moment. So this is a race to watch. 3 laps to go.
Good racing going on.
Absolutely. Dustin, it's been quiet up there from you. You've been doing some great camera work tonight. 3 laps to go. Any thoughts out there?
No, just a good battle between these two. They've been having a battle pretty much the whole race. Ryan Boyd gets a little loose there, maybe a little arrow off the back bumper. No, it's been a great race. I'm glad I'm up here with you guys tonight. Just excited to be back, and they're racing hard. And Devin drove clean tonight, didn't really make any mistakes, and he's out front with 2 to go. He's got the win here, but congratulations to Ethan, the championship. He had a great season.
Absolutely. As he's going to put the back bumper now to Brian Boyd. He's going to try and get him a little bit sideways, repay that favor a little bit earlier, race him hard on that outside. These guys are definitely out there having fun battling it out. I mean, you can't argue. Me and Jim have had these battles, and most of the time Jim yells at me, "What are you doing?" But I think this time,
Nah.
yeah.
Jim,
I
don't
think
do
this
that.
time but no, they're having a lot of fun out there just trying to wrap this up. Two to go, obviously. Devin Zimmerman without any issue. One lap to go, last lap of the race without him blowing up or some unforeseen circumstances. It's going to be Devin Zimmerman's race. Chuck has got a commanding second, and this is a battle for third. So come down that front stretch. Brian gets underneath. Ethan's going to try and just, you're going to lose that momentum. Brian Boy brings it home in third spot
Oh, we got
over
one
Ethan
lap yet.
Thompson.
Bummer
Oh, we
here.
do. We got another lap. Okay, well, I guess
Yeah.
I was reading that wrong. So I'm already calling them home. And all right, let's wrap that up again.
You might have to rewind it.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
rewind it as we watch Devin Zimmerman now come down, take
You know
the
what?
checker flag.
Devin did drive the race just like he all the way through from the start to the finish. He just dominated and drove an excellent race.
Absolutely. As we've seen so many times that, a dominant car puts a lot of time on the field.
Yep. And then as we can see, Brian Boyd is finishing third, and Ethan Thompson fourth, and Chuck McDonald in second. Did a really good job. And fifth was Luke Desjardins. So we had two Canadians in the top five tonight, which is a good run for the Canadians.
Absolutely. And here
And
comes
then,
Andy Spears coming in seventh.
Coming across the line, sixth place, right? And then Andrew
Seventh
Bissett
spot?
in seventh, right?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, Andrew Spears did come
So
home
he did a
sixth.
great run sixth after he got paddled early. And here comes Bissett coming across the line on seventh position. And he had his troubles tonight, which I was surprised. And we got Brad Hunt coming down, taking the finishing his position. And there we got Devin celebrating, burning down the tires on in the Michigan Road.
So come across the line, and Robert Cochran then takes theirs. As here you go. You got Ethan Thompson coming out there, a champion, burning it down next to Devin Zimmerman. So Ethan Thompson and Devin Zimmerman are your two big winners tonight, with Devin Zimmerman taking home the race win and Ethan Thompson bringing home his second consecutive, now two-time winner champion for the Vets and First Responders League. I'm going to try and get our race winner dialed up here. Devin Zimmerman, this Jay up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, how's it going, fellas?
Hey, welcome to the Back Charities Victory Lane. What a race you had tonight. Man, that was like a dominant performance. Why don't you walk us through your race?
Yeah, I had a little issue with the with blinking. I need to get that under control. I'm not sure what's going on, but I had to, in the middle of the race, I had to disconnect or disable my race labs where I could see a track map and things. So working through those issues. It's kind of hectic, but yeah, I wanted to get away from the pack. Michigan, if you don't get away from the pack, you can't really break away and run your race. So the goal was to break away as soon as possible and just take care of the tires. Kind of don't think that the tires mean too much here, but they absolutely do.
Absolutely. I mean, that was one heck of a run. You hit your marks tonight, that seems to be one of your Achilles heels, as you do, but you hit them tonight. And then Chuck McDonald was putting some pressure on a little bit early, and Brian Boyd kind of went out earlier. What was your thoughts when you saw Brian make that drive early on in the run? Did he give you any shakes in that car or what?
Uh, I knew that I'm not the fastest on short runs. That's kind of my where I need to do a little work. So I knew the car would come in, especially as it gets tighter through the runs. For some reason, I'm a better driver on a tight race car than a loose race car. So after about 10 laps, I figured anything that happened, they would come through and I would be able to get right back by them. So that was kind of the goal. Let everybody kind of play out and take care of my equipment, and then get back by them. Which there seemed to be a big blink there, and that kind of caught everybody off a little bit. So um, unfortunately, that's what took what gave the advantage, I guess. So Once I got by though, it was just run and hide. So that's what I did, run and hide.
Right. Well, no, that was a very good run. Congratulations on your second end. We're looking at 1, 2, and 3, our series leaders, points leaders right there. Taken in for a nice little screenshot. Good to have McConeycomb on the car. I'm sure you got some sponsors you'd like to thank before we get talking to the third place and then eventually our series winner.
Yeah, of course, Honey Press on the hood. Been on the hood all season. Got to run the special tribute at Talladega for her new product line for Demon Slayer last week. This week changed it up a little bit. Ran my favorite race car driver, Bubba Wallace, gets his Kansas win. So I took the Kansas win car and made a similar paint scheme, but just changed the colors. So got that paint scheme on the car this week. But yeah, as always, honey press on the hood. McConey setup shop on the sides and on the rear and the deck lid. Big shout out to Jeff McConey and his adventures. Thank him for doing the broadcast for the charity race that we did for Tyler Daniels' sister and his family last Friday. I'm glad we were able to participate in that and raise a lot of money for his family. I know the 50-50 drawing's coming up soon, but I'm glad that we were able to help out with what we could. But yeah, other than that, tank racing, starting up the team league next week. It's a big money payout league, so it's on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. I'll be racing on Thursdays in the Xfinity car, so hopefully those who are watching can tune in. I can provide links if need be. Just shoot me a message. And yeah, I think that's about it. 100 in anesthesia and healthcare billing. So yeah, appreciate all of them, all the tank racing sponsors, and yeah, just can't say enough about the competition this season. Ethan, Mr. Consistent over there, gets the championship. Brian Boyd coming on strong late, and then Chuck McDonald just getting better and better. He's going to be right there up with us next season, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on not only your win, but your second place in the points. Yeah, I know you had a little bit of an issue there. A couple races kind of put you behind, Ethan. And that was pretty much the difference this season long. But another great battle for season 6. So looking forward to season 7 and seeing you out there. Jim or Dustin, got anything for Devin?
Other than congratulations, Devin, great season. You're a great competitor and a good person to represent TDR. And we thank you for your services and good job tonight.
Jim couldn't say
I
any better.
appreciate it.
Congratulations on the win, and good to see you back on track.
Yeah, it's good to be back up at the front, having a couple rough weeks, and I was finally able to get some momentum my way last week with a great photo finish there at Talladega, and just carry momentum. So hopefully it continues into next season.
Yeah, I'm glad you won tonight because you got to pay for all the ice cream from your crew. They ate you out of
Yeah,
the house.
I think they're going to pay me ice cream because I actually made it on pit road without an issue.
Yeah, well, they were eating ice cream the whole time while you were out there, so they only had one stop tonight, and they relaxed while you did all the work tonight. Good job. Congratulations.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, I'm going to move you back down there. Congratulations. Thank you for everything that you do for not only TDR, but for our country as well. So have a good one, and we will see you next week for season 7.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you guys in the booth. Thanks to all the fans that are watching.
You got it. Stay tuned for the 50-50. All right, so we're going to move Mr. Zimmerman back down, and we're going to bring up our third spot tonight. Now, Chuck McDonald, Chuck isn't one. He pretty much goes in the trailer. He don't like to speak to us, but congratulations, Chuck McDonald, on bringing it home second tonight, and had a great points night. So if anybody is out there and talks to Chuck, let him know from the booth. Congratulations. I'm sure he'll rewatch this. As I just ran into Brian. Brian, this is Jay up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Man, what a run tonight. That was one heck of a drive early and then battled back. He had a little bit of issues and battled Ethan for quite hard there for third tonight. So why don't you walk us through your race?
Well, I wanted to see what the car had in the opening laps of the race. That's why I pushed so hard. I knew it was a long race, so I wanted to push it as hard as I could and see just how far up I could get from 8th. I didn't expect to get to first, but
And you did.
yeah, and I was okay with that for a while, and then the tires just fell off. And believe it or not, it was the right rear that fell off, not the right front.
You were burning down the house for sure. but I was afraid you were way too quick and way early for doing that. But hey, you're driving it, you felt good, so you do what you had to do.
Oh, that car felt fabulous.
Yeah, yeah, it looked
Absolutely. I
good.
mean, you
And
had a
what
great.
about the door rub or a bumper rub with Ethan? Was that a congratulations bump in turns 3 and 4?
You talking about when I knocked him out of the way?
Yeah, yeah. That was that his victory bump or for the championship or
No, that had a whole lot of explicit words in my mind rolling around because I did not mean to do that. I just had a really good run,
right,
and then
right.
we both went to occupy the same spot at the same time.
Oh, I thought it was just like a little congratulations bump to him. That's all. Say
Oh
hey,
no,
good job, and yeah.
oh no, no, no. I did not mean to touch his car.
I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding.
Well, hey, there was a lot of hard racing there towards the end. You and Ethan kind of, yeah, I mean, put the
Yeah,
fender to each other a couple more times there, and
looks
I
like he
mean,
pushed
that's
up a little bit. And I'm not
I mean,
that
great
crazy.
hard racing. Nobody got spun around. I mean, that's what we like to see. So, your first full season with us now. You
Yes,
came
sir.
in on the YouTube and you watched us, and now you're a full time racer out here. Yeah, like I said, you're knocking on the door to those W's. Third tonight, fourth last week. Looking at the win, I mean, you were literally looking at the line when that happened. But that's just Talladega racing. We've all been there, done that. And now tonight, you're bringing home not only third, but you also bring home third in the championship spot. So, congratulations on one heck of a season. You got my vote definitely for Rookie of the Year for season 6. And I think you drove it and you proved it, and for everything that you've done.
Thank you guys so much for that. That means a lot.
And I know you got
Okay.
some sponsors you'd like to thank before we
Hopefully.
get talking to our not only our season points leader and our 4th spot tonight, but why don't you go ahead and thank the people and we'll get rolling on in the evening. I know a lot of people are looking forward to this 50-50 coming up.
Absolutely. So my first shout out is going to be to you guys and Back Charities for allowing me to put your logo on my car. Um, Without you guys, we don't have a channel for people to come and watch us and cheer us on. Secondly, it's going to be the McConey Setup Shop. Their setups are second to no one's. I don't care what anyone says. Um, and then Mission 22. They're second to nobody for what they do for the veterans, making sure that we try to get that number as close to zero as possible.
Yep. Yep.
Absolutely. And we love that Mission 22 came on board. Hopefully, they will be with you for a long time. That's what this vets and first responders is all about. So, if you know any more vets and first responders, absolutely bring them along. We'd love to see more Mission 22 drivers out there. I mean, it's a great cause with Maconi and Mission 22, two of the best and two that represent some of the best in this sport, and not only but Mission 22 for sure. We want to see that Mission 22 go to Mission 0 by the end of this run. So hearts go out to everybody who's involved in that, who's going through a tough time. Reach out to TDR, reach out to Brian, reach out to these guys. They'll get you pointed in the right direction. We're not only coming out here to have fun and race hard, and Brian is a proof that you can go from a YouTuber to a winner, and that's pretty much what he's done, and he's been very strong, very great with TDR, and great asset to our league. So congratulations, Brian. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you, Mission 22, and looking forward to seeing you next season.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys so much.
And Brian, we do thank you. Behind the scenes, you bring up the sessions for practice for each and every race, and to give everybody some time to get together and see what the cars will do it together in the packs. And it's a great thing that you do. You do a lot of things that doesn't go unnoticed with TDR, and we do thank you.
Yes,
Great
sir.
job.
Not a problem.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
appreciate everybody's participation in it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, go celebrate your third, man. You earned it a big time. You beat a lot of hard drivers that have been out here season after season. So go drink that champagne and have fun tonight, bud.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys. You guys have a great night.
All right,
You
thank you.
too. And he really is a great asset to TDR since he came on board. I mean, yeah, he's had his issues, he had his run-ins, and but he's straightened
He's
out.
got
And
a
he's
huge
learning the
heart.
ways of TDR, and he's definitely showing. What
Got a
can you
huge
expect from
heart.
a rookie?
A huge
So
heart. So
absolutely, and sometimes the heart overplays all that. So
yeah.
see if we can chase down. See if he's still sober anyway from that run that he had. So see if we can hunt down Ethan Thompson. Ethan, this is Jay up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, I got you.
Man, congratulations on your repeat championship. You guys are racing hard tonight. Why don't you walk us through our race?
Um, So I mean, I didn't feel too bad. And then of course we had the incident between me and Brian, and then I lost a couple spots, and like it seemed like in that pack was almost like a nightmare. Like it was so hard to pass. You could get by somebody, but then they could get right back to you because of the draft, and we're fighting so much in that group that you're just shredding tires. You can't really take care of them at that point. So, and unfortunately, I was having issues with my brake pedal on my hand controls. I was getting about 25 to 30% brake input like the entire race, and I was having to try to fiddle with it to try to get it to zero out. For some reason, it's not want to do that, and a track like this, when you're getting brake input going down the straightaway, that's never good. So, but it was still, I made the most of it. It was fun. It was a good race. It was fun getting to fight there with Brian for like, I don't know, seemed like 20 laps or
Yeah,
so.
about 20 laps or so.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was about 20. Yeah, I mean, it was great
Yeah.
racing tonight in between you and Brian. Brian had a really strong car, started in eighth, bro, drove it to the front, and then fell back a little bit. Used to kind of were the class of the field to watch. I mean, it was a great battle those last few laps going down to the finish, beating, banging. There was some, I'm sure it wasn't intentional. It's just line you were running, but that I mean, that's some great racing here in Michigan. So we're going to keep it going here, and we got a 50-50 coming up, and I'm sure you got some sponsors you'd like to thank, and congratulations on your championship, your second one now.
Thank you. Definitely appreciate it. Got my main on my car now is my business, Thompson Drone Works. And then McConey's always riding along too. We got them on the quarter panel on both sides. And then, as always, we always give shout out to back charities, Tyler Daniels. They're always on the car as well.
Absolutely, and we thank you for your service, everything that you've done for us, and congratulations on your second championship in a row. We are going to put you down there, celebrate with the guys, as we've got a major announcement coming up. If you're a part of the 50-50, grab your tickets. We're about ready to get the names called out. So everybody out there, we're going to give you about the minute or so to tune in. Make sure everybody's tuned in as the 50-50 is coming up live. Ethan, thank you once again for everything that you've done. Congratulations on your season 5, season 6. We look forward to seeing what you can do in season 7, and you are on quite a roll. Keep it going. Thank you for even being a great part of TDR. So that's
Appreciate it.
wonderful.
Appreciate it, guys, and appreciate everything that you guys are doing to keep all this stuff rolling.
Well, as we say every week, it's our pleasure. So with that, go down, go celebrate with the boys, and get your 50-50 out, because the drawing is coming up live next. Dustin, take it away.
Yeah, well, go to the 50-50 drawing. Jim, take it away.
Absolutely. And I got my number one fan here, Sister Sookie, behind me, that's got the old barrel shaking. And we're going to reach in and grab a ticket and pull one out. And everybody get out their ticket numbers and we'll see what they got. So we have the bowl here and hold it high. And here we go. And the winner is, look at your ticket number stub, is 4709400. And that win goes to Luke D. DeGenero. Is it DeJarnis?
Desjardins.
Yes,
Luke
Luke. Yes,
Desjardins.
Luke takes the 50-50 win tonight. So he's on a roll with TDR with the win Thursday night, and now he won the 50-50 from the benefit. And congratulations, Luke, and the money will be coming your way. So congratulations.
Sharon, there is Sister Sookie in the background. She is our unofficial watcher tonight of the TDR. So everybody wave hi to Sharon.
Yep. But yeah,
So
thank you everybody who did the donations towards the it was a great cause. For Tyler's sister, it's such a tragic thing that they've been went through. And a heart disease is something that's hard to fight. And she just lost the battle, but she fought the fight. And our thoughts and prayers go out to the family and the kids and that whole, they just need to be lifted up. That's all. So but yeah, I'm glad we were able to do the event, and it went very well with the race on Friday night and the 50-50. And I don't know what the total number is that they raised, but it was a pretty good amount. So Back Charities does a great job there, and thank you, Andy and Tommy, for doing what they do, and this is what we're about, not only financially if we can, but we're here for moral support too, and prayers or whatever we can do to make it better. But we thank each and every one of you guys out there.
Absolutely. Thank you to everybody at TDR, everybody who supports TDR, the values that TDR represents. We are more than just a league, we are a family. And it all goes back to Tyler Daniels and his family. So when something such tragic happens, this is what we do. We all pull together. And you can see we've had a lot of big names show up, not only for Tyler Daniels, but when something tragic happens, we had a lot of big names step up that are actually associated with NASCAR. Um, Jeff McConey, out of the kindness of his heart, we owed him nothing on that broadcast. Did it from him and did a tremendous job and showcased. If you wanted to see an all-star event or you wanted to know who the who's who of TDR, it was on the track Friday night and they put on a great show. Absolutely, we had guys from every league. We saw Devin Zimmerman out on track, Ethan Thompson, our season winner, out on track, Ryan Shelton, who everybody knows from this league, Chuck McDonald, Robert Cochran was out there, myself was out there, Jim was out there,
Adam
Dustin was
Rippon.
out there, Andy was out there, Tyler was out there. So if you want to know the names of who is in TDR and what you're racing against, go watch that truck race because that's exactly what TDR represents. And I couldn't have been prouder to be part of that. Congratulations, Luke, on that huge 50-50 win. And thank you for everybody who has supported the Tyler Daniels family. Elizabeth Wisniewski, she will be missed. She was stepsister to Tyler. And yeah, hopefully it can help that family heal and go towards the future. And that's what Back Charities does. Back Charities comes together. We collect donations for events like this, the tragic events. We also do a teddy bear drive, which is coming up soon. Tommy was supposed to elaborate on that a little bit more, but that is coming up. I believe that's in December. We're going to do the teddy bear race, and I think Cards for the Troops. I'm not sure if they're going on this year, but
Yeah,
there's something that they do.
yeah, the teddy bear. I believe the race is going to be in October. Last
All
year
right.
I was involved with that with Back Charities with the teddy bears, and we well over 300 teddy bears were that were given to the hospital. And this one's going to be a little bit bigger and better. This year we got a little more time to spend that Andy's working on, and just stay tuned for that fund drive. And it's for a great cause for the children. And then the Christmas cards to the troops in November. It's a great program. We sent over, I think, 800 cards last year. We sent out to the vets, to the military overseas, which is a great cause. And the card had pictures of 8 different drivers on them. I happen to be on one of them, my car, and it's a good feeling to know that it's going out to a hand that somebody cannot make it home for the holidays, and just let them know we love them, we care, and we watch them over them. So great cause that Back Charities does week in and week out, and some of it's not broadcast. We try to let everybody know what they're here for and what we're doing. And Andy and Tommy does an excellent job there. By the way, I believe the 50-50 amount was $408 was the total. So Luke will get $204 of the 50-50 money, and the rest will go up to the family. So thank everyone who participated in the drawing. Went to a great cause, and every little bit helps. It
Absolutely.
it doesn't bring her back, but it does help some of the expenses that occurred throughout the time going back and forth to the hospital every day, and meals, and it's a very painful thing that the family goes through, and it's the least we could do. And more thoughts and prayers and support, it goes a long way. So thank you to everybody that contributed. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yep. And big heart thank goes to everybody, like I said, in TDR and what we did. Congratulations on Luke Desjardins for winning the 50-50. I'm sure that will be money well spent. Coming back, just to let you know, if I beat you next time, Luke, you need to get a hold of me because I'll take half of it for a new rig. Um, No, I'm just playing.
He just
But
spent a
Luke did
ton
a
of money.
great job tonight. No, Luke did a great job tonight bringing home fifth. I mean, he had
Yeah,
one heck of a car. He was a fast car. But what a race tonight. What a way to end the season. Devin Zimmerman puts on one heck of a showing. I mean, he pretty much spanked the field coming out there. Chuck McDonald put on one heck of a show tonight. Chuck isn't one we really talk about too much. He's kind of been moving his way to the forward, but man, is he a force to be reckoned with. I'm gonna say within the next season, season 7, the way that this thing is adding up, Chuck McDonald, Brian Boyd, Andrew Bisnett, you got Robert Cochran who's
Spears.
there, Luke's there. I
Um,
mean, a
you
few
got
more guys.
Spears, he really showed a good outing tonight. McDonald was fast. Robert McDonald was fast. Next season's going to be, I believe, a lot tighter season than it was this year. This season. Next year's going to be some really good racing, and Andy Biznet's trying to mix it up a little bit with a couple of stages and to make it a little bit more interesting. Instead of a one-man show. Going to try to get more involvement with points and to keep it close and keep it interesting. But I'm looking forward to next season. You know.
Yeah, next season should be like one of the highlights of the season. If you haven't done so already, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification button. That helps out our algorithm. If anybody is interested in iRacing, it moves us up in the charts so they can come out, support the guys who support us every day on the same back time, same back channel. Next week, we'll start the season number 7. So, actually, Devin's only got 1 week to settle this down. Ethan Thompson's only got a week to celebrate his second in a row championship before he's out there, and it's an even playing field. So these guys don't get no time or no rest for the weary. Drink it up tonight, party tonight, but it's all starts again tomorrow morning back at the shop, getting these cars ready for next season. Jim, thank you for coming up here. It was a pleasure calling the race with my big brother and sister Suki. That's not something that happens every day. So I had a lot of fun up here tonight calling this one out. Uh, Dustin, dude, we missed you so bad. We love you, brother. Glad to see you're back out here. Hopefully, you'll be out here a little bit more for season 7. Now that things are winding down out your way and things are getting cooler anyway. So maybe we'll see you out here a little bit more. But appreciate everything that you've done for the vets and first responders too. Any final thoughts?
No, just happy to be back for this race. Hopefully, be able to make it tomorrow. We'll see how things pan out in the future. I believe next week we go to Daytona to start out the season, if I heard Biznet right, and can't wait for that race. That's always a fun race to watch with these guys.
Yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
a replay from Talladega last week. Well, hold on to them seat, tighten them belts up because it's going to be another week of great racing at Talladega. Anybody could win that race, so it'll be fun. Dustin, thank you for the cameras. And you didn't lose the drone. If I was in charge of the drone, we would have lost it. So I'm
Oh, I
glad
think
you
I
pulled
lost
the
it somewhere
drone.
in turn
I
3.
was really we'll have to go through. Put an APB out for it. Anybody in Michigan that sees a drone, give Dustin a call. There'll be a reward for it if you find it to bring it back. I never found mine, so hopefully Dustin get his returns for next week. So, but great job with the cameras. I loved it. I loved the shots and great job, Jay, and the booth as always. Um, you guys are far more superior than I am up here, and you guys do a great job.
Well, thank you. We do appreciate that, but it isn't all about us. It's all about the guys that we represent, the guys that we
Yeah.
call every week. We put on the field, we put on the troops, and we do this for not only our pleasure because we learn a lot up here. I know I've learned a few things by watching these leaders get around and kick our butts on a daily basis.
Yep.
So at the final standings, I'm going to run them down. We do have the final standings right now. So Ethan Thompson wins with 574 points on the season. Devin Zimmerman brings it home second, 556. Brian Boyd with 506. Andrew Bisnett let the 10 slip away to 486 and fourth. Bradley Hunt did move up to fifth. And with 475, Robert Cochran ended the year at 466 and sixth spot, who beat Chuck McDonald, who had a great run, coming home second tonight, but with a 447th in the points. Ryan Walter had some issues early on. We really miss Ryan. Hopefully he can get back out here for season 7 as well. Miss him out here. Ryan Shelton, who had 3 wins on the season, dominated pretty much a lot of these races that we saw, had some really great battles. Also had a few issues this year. Came home ninth in the points with 319. Brad Youngman We've seen him out here. He's another fast one that we can look forward to next season. Came home 10th. Christopher Rawlings, who had a great night tonight, kind of fell back and then had a little bit of an issue, fell out, but couldn't just quite grab that 10th spot. Coming home 11th with 306. Our captain, Paul Vosberg, our firefighter, brought it home 12th with 281. Luke Desjardins, our 50-50 winner and 5th spot tonight, brought it home 13th at 177 points. Tanner Lee, who we saw just a part-timer out here, brings it home 14th. Todd Danbury rounds out the top 15th. Robin Pardon 16th. Larry Patrick 17th. Stephen Green 18th. Tyler Bowers 19th. Andrew Spears 20th. Sean Warub. We've seen him out here a few times. That's another part-time driver that we see coming in and out. Miss Sean tonight is pretty good. Brings it home 21st. Christopher Strawn 22nd. Andrew Coert 23rd. Brian Wright 23rd with a tie with Andrew Coert. Alonzo King 25th. Robert McDonald, you came out here tonight, 26th. John Dalton, 27th, and Barney Sigmund, 28th. So 28 drivers took to the field this entire season of season 6. Ethan Thompson brings it home with a commanding win. And for his second season championship in a row, will be receiving the BNB Reps Trophy for his second time. He's going to have to start clearing some stuff out of his walls. Maybe we'll have to get him some stickers to put on his drones. 2-time series champion in the Vets and First Responders League. So congratulations to all the guys that came out here, everybody that came out here. We are on Back Sports every Monday night at 8 o'clock, barring anything as far as holidays or special events. But we are here every Monday at 8:15. We usually go live sometimes 8:20, 8:30, depending on how far we get behind. But we're out here on the same back time, same back channel, backsports.com on YouTube. From Michigan here, I am going to wrap it up and hand it over to my brother Jim and to Dustin to call us out.
Well, I'm just going over the rundown for the points. You had 28 guys that came out and ran several races in between. And if we get 28 starting next Saturday at Daytona or next Monday at Daytona, it would be fun. But they're all busy. They're all doing special things, fighting for our country and fighting firefighters and fires and taking care of the people in incidents. And we just thank the vets and the first responders and the active military people. We thank them every day for their services. But again, great job, and thanks to Back Charities for doing what they do and Back Sports covering it. So thank you all.
Yeah, thanks everyone for checking in. See you guys next week, live from Daytona International Speedway to kick off season 7. Until then, we'll see you guys then.